is recording.
Right. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Almost Nerds podcast.
Woo, number 7. Excited.
Here we go. I think it's a lucky number. I like number 7, so it's going to be a good one. So it's your host, Kareem, and we have Ben Lewis, and we're ready to fucking roll.
Yeah, definitely. I've been waiting since I finished this movie to talk about this movie.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I mean, some crazy stuff happened in between then and now here in Rhode Island regarding sharks. But I mean, we'll get to that. Let's get into, because I know that sometimes the episodes, there's a little gap in between the episodes. But I mean, you live in Arizona, I live in Rhode Island, 3-hour time difference, so it's tough to always meet up. And we both simultaneously had our air conditioners shit the bed, and then that's been an ongoing saga for me. How's it going for you?
It's still an ongoing saga. So
yep,
air conditioners fixed, but in the meantime we had some portable air conditioners.
Yep.
And all of a sudden plugging those in caused our circuits to trip like every single time.
Geez. Yep.
And so now, just earlier on Saturday and Sunday, on Friday night and Saturday night, randomly, even though our air conditioner's fixed, there's no more portable air conditioners, the circuits are just tripping randomly. So now we gotta get electricity out here again, because there's a potential for like either a ground or something else. And I was like, I don't want to die in a house fire.
Yeah. no, you have that joke about dying. And don't you have a joke about dying in a house fire or something? I remember you saying you run outside your family, leave them there. What was it? No, it was a ghost. I remember, it was a ghost.
Ghost, scorpions, all this stuff. I would be outside.
Oh, right. You have scorpion. I do forget about it. You have some things that will kill you out in Arizona.
Yes.
I mean, I would like to bitch more, but I feel like in New England, for me, even in the summer, to bitch to you about the heat and me not having AC, it's almost like if I got pulled over by the police and I'm like, Ben, I don't like the way this police officer talked to me. I just really didn't like that, man.
Yeah, because it's like you could open your window and be like, fresh breeze, versus me opening the window and be like, we're cooking inside of our house now.
Yeah. I mean, because the guy came and he did like a little repair. He's like, oh no, it's fixed. And then my dad, who he did I was talking to him on the phone. He worked as an engineer for a commercial HVAC company, and he's like listening to what the guy did, and he's like, he's just very skeptical. He's like, that didn't fix it. And a week went by, and I was like, Dad, it's working fine. And then just yesterday, it just stopped completely. And it's 75 degrees in my house, which I know, again, 75 degrees, you probably don't see that until January.
that's beautiful. Our temperature set to 78, so 75 degrees sounds like a good day.
Dude, in no world is my house ever 78 degrees ever.
Dude, let's see. The temperature today was, do I have it quickly? Temperature. Fucking hot. Yeah, it was just fucking. No, it was it looked like 93 degrees. It was the high in Phoenix today, and a high of 101 on Friday. That's probably the best it's been in a while, because I'm pretty positive last week it was just like, oh sweet Jesus, just take me off this earth, dear Lord.
Dude, you guys are built different down there. Because if we get
East Coast, I'm not built different. I'd be out there. How can you survive this?
Dude, it's how it is. Like, you're from Delaware, and I forget sometimes, but like it's when those heat waves hit the Northeast, like you just said, like 103, like that's absurd. And you'll have like 3 days over 100, and it'll just be like old people dying everywhere, and like people just don't know how to handle that
heat
shit.
Advisory warnings everywhere. That plus the humidity, and everybody's just like, stay inside, don't do anything. Out here, Arizona, just like, be cool. Like, fucking how am I going to be cool? It is 115 degrees outside right now.
Now the no mask thing's starting to make sense.
Yeah.
From the perspective of the people in Arizona, just being like, I'm not putting that shit on me. You know how fucking hot it is out here?
Just people laying on the ground like it's like the Stand or something. Everybody's just falling over slowly. Just praying to God. It's hot. It's ridiculous.
Yep. But it's 75 and I'm cranky, and that's my truth. All right.
Live your truth. I can't complain about it. I cannot complain about it at all.
All right. So we'll get into a little explaining what you've been up to so that people aren't bitching. You've been busy. Shit is opening back up. Comedy's opening back up, and you're doing shows again. So
Boom.
yeah, man. And I got it. I sent me the clip of show you did. It was like a 10-minute set. It was serious. It was really fucking good.
Thank
And
you.
I think that was your
Appreciate it.
first show back, right?
Second show back.
Second show back.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I had a third show this past weekend, and let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I killed the room. Like they were just in silence from
Yep.
my awesomeness. Like nobody laughed at anything because they're just in such awe. They're just like, oh my gosh, he's a comedic genius, and they
That is
just
so good.
no
Good.
one
I'm
was
just
laughing. It was amazing. No, it
the,
went pretty well. It went
Oh,
pretty
all
well.
right. I was gonna
Yeah.
say because now you're starting to describe what sounds like my open mics, and I was like, oh, all this time I thought I was bombing. I must be really good.
No, it was a pretty good show. It was definitely interesting because there are some comics that went up and like they got some laughs, but it's always funny with comedians because we're such sensitive people. So when people don't laugh at our jokes, instead of being like, man, I need to get funnier, we're always like, crowd's just not in it tonight. The crowd just
Yeah.
sucks. So I don't understand it. Like, man, the crowd's just awful. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay. And it's like, then you're all panicking. You go up on stage and you're like, oh, dear Jesus, please let them laugh. And you start laughing. You're like, oh, was the crowd awful? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm always supportive. So when I get back on stage, like, man, yeah, the crowd sucked out there. And they're like, no, you
Oh,
did good.
yeah.
Like, no, no, no. The crowd was tall. They're terrible. They're
No,
awful.
you're right. They
Yeah.
suck.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 They were the worst.
Yeah. That was early on. There's a couple comedians that when Mass was shut down, all these comedians, like good Boston comedians, were just pushed down to Rhode Island, going to these like fucking open mics that nobody would ever go to,
Yeah. Mhm.
So that was pretty fun. But I remember I was like one of the first things, like one of those comedians pulled me. He's like, hey, it's never the crowd. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, and
So
I never want to tell anybody that because I'm always supportive, but sometimes it's like, I mean, you just came out talking about pink dicks immediately. I don't know if the crowd was ready for that. We're just you gotta warm them up to pink dicks. You can't just throw it out there to them. But okay,
you're
all right,
right.
it's the crowd. It was the crowd.
They
You
need
know,
to, even if it's a tiny pig, they need to warm up to that dick.
yeah,
They
you
need to,
gotta, yeah, you gotta let them make them like you first before you just start talking about pink dicks. But it's like, okay, yeah, sure, all right.
It's a great point, man. I mean, it doesn't matter how nice your dick is. If you're on your first date, you just don't pull it out at dinner.
No, not
Before
at
the
all.
apps even come out, you
Yeah,
don't.
right. Hey,
No.
this is a pre-appetizer. Bam. No,
Don't
no,
doesn't
don't
matter
do
how
that.
nice that thing is.
Yeah, exactly. It could be made of gold. That's still something where you're like, you kind of mention it later on, like, just in case you didn't know, I have a gold penis. But this is towards the end of the date, and if you'd like to see more, follow me on YouTube, something like that. But
Yep. Gold condoms.
yeah,
I just thought of that when you said that. That's a good idea. Some golden condoms.
yeah,
Yeah. So all right. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad that you're back out there hitting the mics. That's awesome.
yeah. It's been fun.
And then Jaws, man. And then Jaws.
And
So
then Jaws.
how
I took notes.
man, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie. So many times. So excited about this.
Okay.
This is and I'm very interested in your perspective on
Okay,
this.
so first things first for Jaws. The old lady, they've been out there karate in the fence. I lost it right then and there.
They're
Like,
out there karateing the picking fences.
yeah. I was like, what's such a white people problem? They're just immediately in there. Let's see here. The mayor.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor reminds me of the mayor from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It's a kids movie, but I would 100% bet that mayor is based off the mayor from Jaws
could very well could be.
because
Yeah.
they look kind of similar, they dress kind of similar, and the mayor is just kind of like, we got to keep the beach open. Niggas is dying out here. Sharks are eating them. You can't do that. But he's like, there's too much money involved. We got to keep the beaches open.
And again, it's a very white people mentality.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the people who were continuing to go into the water, even if it was open, like let's say that dude just kept those beaches open like he did, and there was one shot, and then he just people kept going. Like even if it was just like a hint of a shark, like I said, it was a propeller, and then some people are saying it was a shark. Like I'm staying the fuck out of the water. One time I went down to Florida, and we were down there with a few friends from school, and there was a shark. And they put a sign on the things that a shark was in the water within the past however many hours, 10, 12 hours, whatever it was. That was good enough for me. I ain't going to that fucking water.
Nope.
I didn't go into the fucking water.
You could tell me there's a catfish in that water that's too big that could swallow a toe, and I'm not going into that water.
No,
thank you.
No.
And then what's really interesting about this movie is that I double checked. It's a PG movie, and I saw nipples within the first like minute and a half of this movie. And I was like, we lived loose and free back then in the 70s and the 80s, because I was like, this is not a PG movie.
I've been watching that movie for so long that I've watched it probably, on just regular standard TV, VHS, DVD, now Blu-ray. I didn't see those titties until recently because the picture keeps getting better.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
First thing I saw was like, she's going skinny dipping. Okay, you can show button PG. It was shouted. I was like, oh no, that was nipple. That was definitely nipple.
That was definitely.
Yeah, but this is PG.
No, butt ass naked, and I never really realized because the old when you watch that shit on VHS and stuff, and probably when it filmed, it was all grainy, so you couldn't really, But no, they got away with some stuff back in the day. Those rating systems were not the same as they are.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And so I mean, I don't know if you knew, but I tend to know a lot about this movie. But it was based on a real series of attacks in New Jersey, which is right in here. Yeah, our neighboring state in New Jersey. Yeah, because I was in PA, you were in Delaware, New Jersey's right there. Did you ever go to the beaches out there when you were a kid?
Not in Jersey, no. Always went to Maryland or
that makes sense.
Like Rehoboth Beach or Dewey Beach, and then Ocean City, Maryland. Never been to Ocean City, New Jersey, though.
Yeah, so it was I forget what stretch of beaches it was, but it was based on an actual text. So like almost they all parallel. There was a dog that went missing, just like in the movie.
Oh wow!
I was like Pippin, and then that dog just never comes back.
Yeah.
If there's a dog that died, and then there was the pond. So there's an attack in the pond, and that was an attack. Actual kid like upriver a little bit. So what they think was happening in New Jersey, it was like in the 20s or some shit. They think it was a bull shark because they can go up they can go into fresh water for a certain amount of time. So they're like, it had to be a bull shark that was just slaughtering people in New Jersey, and then they kind of based it around this movie.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. There's a lot of things I took notes on. Let's see here. What was the next thing I noticed immediately after the karateing was let's see here. The mayor wears the same outfit. I don't know how many courses of days this took, but the mayor had the same outfit the entire time. I
never noticed that, but
I paid attention. He wore the same outfit the entire time.
The anchor print blazer.
Yep. I was very intrigued to see a white person afraid of water. That was some black tendency stuff. I was very intrigued by that.
Chief Brody.
Yeah. And then speaking of black people, the first black guy was 54 minutes into the movie. I timed it. I watched it, and then as soon as I saw the first black person, I looked at the timer, marked it, and was like, "This is the first time I saw a black person in the entire movie."
And that for like 1975, I feel like that's a lot of black people. Holy shit! Yeah, Finn, what are you doing awake, dude? Go see. Hang on one second.
Okay,
Finn, go see mommy. God damn it! Second. I handle my shit. And his name's Finn. Look at that.
Yep.
Hey.
Okay, I played some hold music for them.
Okay, thanks. Apologize to everybody. My belligerent 3-year-old. Coming down interrupting shit.
Oh yeah, no, my 6-year-old daughter, she walked in here and I was kind of like, get.
Look, he's the one that it's the middle of the night. He never bothers. He always just goes right to mom. Always goes right to mom. And then tonight it was just go to dad doing something. Mom's in the room. I don't know.
Understandable.
Heard some commotion. So yeah, they're right. The black and I think it was cool because he didn't break dance.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They're
Yeah.
coming off the ferry, so I was wondering where they were coming from and why they went to go to the beach all of a sudden. Because, I mean, yeah, sure, all right, but I was just intrigued. I was like, huh, oh, there's the first black person. I rewinded it just to be on the safe side. I was like, yep, nobody in the town before this.
No, right.
Not a soul.
That's good. Well, I guess he was, there wouldn't be breakdance. That was the 80s. So that's the only reason why Steven Spielberg didn't have that,
I've been so offensive, but not at the same time, because I guess at the time frame we wouldn't have worried about it. I'm like, oh yeah, look at him having a good time at the beach, having a good time at the beach.
Yeah.
But the only difference is like as soon as they said there's sharks, I'm like, oh, you know what? When's that ferry coming back? We're gonna go ahead and go home.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I'm not playing around with that.
Yeah, Martha's Vineyard in the 70s, man. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I mean, I'm glad they even let him on the island. I feel like that is a very white island, Martha's Vineyard. That is
definitely.
just, yeah, that is white excellence at its best there.
And then when the ferry comes in, it's the second shark attack, I think. Maybe it's the third one. Everybody's worried about the kid that passes out due to shock, and not the dude that actually got bitten by the shark in the pond. We didn't care about this dude at all whatsoever. That wasn't the scary thing. It was, is he okay? He just passed out from the shock. Or he just saw a man die. A whole man just got eaten by a shark. I think the only thing that was left was like his hand or something like that.
Yeah, they're just like, fuck it, he's gone. That's it, man.
We didn't care about the dude in the pond. We were just worried about the kid passed out on the side.
He belongs to the ocean now. That's it. It's a circle of life right there.
Yeah.
Poor son of a bitch.
Oh man.
He's out there like, hey guys, do you need help? That was like, so that was one of the first parts of the movie. You get a kind of the glimpse of the entire shark because his kind of body comes up and then you see him kind of skimming along the surface just underneath, and then he grabs that guy's leg and yanks him underneath. But I mean, that was the whole thing. That's the big thing that kind of everybody knows from the movie, is that you don't see the shark much. You don't see him until like they go half of the movie, halfway in, then you finally, see the shark, because it never fucking worked.
Yeah.
And they cheaped out on the parts for it. And then I guess some of the shit wasn't like saltwater appropriate for the robot.
Oh, gotcha.
So like every day they had to like disassemble it and wipe it down and put it back together and fucking all that. It's great. And what I'm learning, because I'm watching that show on Netflix that is like the movies that made us.
Oh yeah.
And I just watched the Back to the Future one last night.
I watched the Back to the Future one the other day, and it's fantastic.
It is awesome.
It is great.
It's a similar story, even though Spielberg was like a producer on that one, not a director. But like, everything that he does is like, it goes over budget, and the studio is about to pull the plug on it, and then they don't, and then it's the fucking greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, and that one was crazy how like they had Eric Stoltz, because like I know the actor Eric Stoltz, and I'm like, I could have never seen him being Marty McFly. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like he just
I didn't even know that. I mean, I heard rumors of they had somebody else for it, but I guess he was the Elephant Man.
Yeah, I never seen that movie.
No, what else was Eric Stoltz in that I would know? Because I don't know.
I don't know. The thing I saw him in was in a Showtime movie later on. And I knew him from that, and I was like, "Oh, I know that redhead dude," and that's pretty much. I didn't know he was the Elephant Man at all.
Yeah, and can I just say, like, actors are some weird motherfuckers, because when they were like, why he wasn't Marty McFly, it was really because he was like, oh, he got all sensitive, and he's like, this end of the movie, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy because he doesn't remember, the things that happened in between then and now his life's different. Yeah, and I was like, really? Like that's what makes you walk away from him?
Yeah, that's what you got from that at all?
Yeah,
or like a kick-ass time travel movie? Like,
yeah, I think you're overthinking it, Stoltz.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so he was the heroin person in Pulp Fiction. If you ever saw that movie, he was the one that gave her had to give John Travolta the
adrenaline.
The adrenaline, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, all right.
The drug addict person.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, no problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff, but that's the thing. Like, as soon as I saw it on IMDb, I was like, okay, I do remember him in that, because I don't remember him in anything else. Apparently, he was in The Butterfly Effect, but I don't remember him and the butterfly
Oh
effect.
yeah, yeah. I definitely remember. I saw that shit in theaters.
Yeah, I did too, but I don't remember him in that one.
Me either.
Yeah,
Not at all.
unless he's like the kid's dad at a certain age, but no, the kid's dad was different. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Let's see here. Yeah, other than that, not much that I know him from that I would have seen him in. Besides, I think the TV series I saw on Showtime was called like Out of Order. I think that was it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
one of the cooler casting things from that I didn't know was Jan from The Office was almost Marty's girl. Well, she was Marty's girlfriend until they pulled Eric Stoltz, and then Michael J. Fox was too short to have Jan be his girlfriend. Said it wasn't believable that he would have that tall of a girlfriend.
Yeah, and I guess at the time frame, like all the women agreed, like, yeah, I wouldn't have
Yeah,
dated a guy shorter than me. And I was like, but it's Michael J. Fox.
yeah,
Are you kidding me? That's Alex P. Keaton. Has anybody not watched Family Ties? Everybody would have dated Michael J. Fox. Come on.
yeah, yeah.
That's
They would have,
ridiculous.
but not Marty McFly. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of get it. I think that's hilarious. I don't think that's changed today. I don't think short guys. No offense, short guys, but I don't think they have any more leverage today than they did have.
I agree. I don't think I've seen too many people with like tall girls and short guys. How tall are you?
No.
I'm like 6 foot, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm like 5'11",
Okay,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, 5'11" and a quarter. Never
Yeah.
quite 6 foot.
I'm right there too. I just say 6 foot because I'm like right there. So
Yeah,
depending on the shoes I'm wearing, I'm 6 foot. So
that's true.
yeah.
Own it.
Plus people respect you more when you say 6 foot. Like I'm 5'11". Oh, are you, little man? Versus I'm 6 foot. Yeah, you are. Tall
Yeah,
bitch.
I feel like I need to because my whole life I've always felt like I was lying if I said that. So
Uh-huh.
I never say it. I always say I'm 5'11", and everybody always just goes, "Oh, that's it," because they
Yeah.
always just assume that you're taller. You
Mhm.
know, there's I could have swore you're 6 foot or 6'1" or whatever. So yeah, maybe I just need to start saying it. Just start
Just
owning it.
do it. Just start
Yeah,
owning it.
like
Just start.
guilt.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're not Catholic. Don't worry about that guilt.
That's true, man. I
Yeah.
do fucking carry around some Catholic guilt for no damn reason.
So going back to the movie,
Mm-hmm.
the one kid that does get eaten by the shark,
Yep.
and then the wife, then no, not the wife, the mom comes in and then slaps the what is he like?
Brody,
Yeah,
the
slaps Brody.
chief.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
chief. My question was she coming from a funeral or did she just decide to wear black the rest of the time for the rest of her life?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a very good question because she was dressed like she just came from his funeral.
Yeah, but it
And
was
so
like
was
the
the
next
dad.
day.
My question is, why the fuck were they both 80?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was pretty old for having a child that looked like he was like 6 or 7.
You look at all the parents on the beach. But that was back in the 70s, man. They could just have been 45.
That's true. But the Brody's wife, worst actress that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It was very terrible acting.
And it's about to make sense. So the only reason that movie went so fucking far over budget, shit went constantly wrong. Nothing was working. They were losing a ton of money. You know, obviously losing a ton of money while they're filming it because it all
Yeah.
came on the back end. But
Uh-huh.
I think that was the president of Paramount's wife.
Oh, because she's
That's
not
why
a good actress.
That's why
Oh.
that's why it didn't get yanked, because every time they would start to say, "Oh, this sucks," she would call the president and be like, "Oh my God, I just got to tell you, Stevie Spielberg, he's so brilliant. He's so great. This movie's gonna come out so good, you know, blah blah." And then the
Wow.
guy would be like, "Yeah, let it roll."
That's crazy.
Yep. So
That explains a lot because like every time I watch it, it's like it just hurts to watch this lady. And then like some of the quotes that they have from her. One, I never knew that we are going to need to get a bigger boat was from Jaws until I watched this movie. But two,
yep.
one of the ones that was really cracking me up is she's like, "What do I tell the kids?" And he goes, "Tell them I'm going fishing." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and then
Oh my god.
so the part where the kid's on his dinghy, and then they yell out the window that Brody's yelling like, "Get out of the water, get out of the water,"
Uh-huh.
and then my whole thing was, what the fuck is wrong with that kid? He just watched like a kid get mauled to death the day before in the water.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, his friend just got eaten by a shark. He's just chilling out by the water on the dock. Him and his
like nothing happened.
like nothing happened with his 3-year-old brother.
Yeah.
Just let's play in the boat.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, man, for someone who's afraid of the water, he got over the fear of water pretty quickly. Because I'm gonna tell you, if I'm afraid of the water, I'll be damned if I'm going on a boat, drunk or
Yeah.
not. Not happening.
Nope.
Yeah, you have to knock me out, and then I wake up and I'm on a boat. And then if I'm not screaming the entire time, it's because I passed back out because I was so afraid of being on this boat.
Have you ever been on a boat?
No, no, I have not.
Okay.
Actually, I'm trying to think. No, I'm trying to think. Besides like a paddle boat or like a
Because you were
kayak.
speaking hypothetically, but then for a second you crossed over into like this is Ben talking right now.
Yeah, no, I've never been on a boat. I actually do. One of my goals, comedy wise, is like I know a lot of like headliners and like feature acts that like will get booked for cruises, and like that'd be
Yeah.
awesome to be
Yeah.
booked for a cruise for like a week because you get to go on a cruise for free, kind of. I mean, they say you get treated like the staff, which apparently the staff get treated like shit on those cruises,
Oh,
but
okay.
still, like I get to be on a boat for a little bit and I get to hang out. They give them almost gremlin rules. It sounds like it's like, okay, you can't come out till after midnight. That's when you can eat.
Oh,
The water.
okay.
Yeah, so it kind of sucks, but I mean, it's still a free cruise, and most of the pictures I see from the friends that I do know who do comedy like that seem to enjoy it. So I'd like to go on a boat, but I don't think I've ever been on one.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I've never been on a cruise.
Uh huh.
But what does intrigue me about cruises, everybody's like, the food is fucking unbelievable. That's what I always hear, that the
Yeah.
food is super good on cruises.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've been on, I can't really swim. I mean, I grew up in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. It's just fucking nothing. And nobody has like money. So like nobody has pools where I grew up.
Hmm.
So like if you did have a pool, it was like an above ground pool and it was like 4 foot deep and like 20 foot wide, and
Gotcha.
like
Yeah.
maybe you got to play in it sometimes. You just pretended you were friends with that kid in the summer. You might get to
Uh huh.
go in it a few times or whatever. But I actually don't mind. I like being on. I like boats, but I can't really swim, and I don't love going
Really?
into the salt water. I love just something. I don't know if it's about the rock. It's something relaxing for me to be on a boat. I don't fucking know, man. I
That's
don't know.
crazy. We both grew up in the YMCA. That's where I got my swim lessons from. Was from the Y.
Yeah, no, I was very bad at swim lessons. I remember like I would swim and then the coach would be like saying something to me, and then I would get like after like 5 feet, I'd like grab onto the side of it. And I'm like, "What'd you say?" And he's like, "I'm telling you to kick your legs." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Then I'd like go and do it again, and then
Uh-huh.
like 5 feet later, grab back. I'm like, "Wait, what did you say?" He's like, "Just kick." I kind of cheated my way through swim
Oh,
class.
gotcha.
Yeah, I never really quite did it. I think they kind of just graduated me into that class because I was like getting too old to fucking be with the 4-year-olds, you know.
I know that. I remember I got good enough to be on the swim team, but I could never dive. And I remember like we were practicing diving, and the first time the instructor grabbed the bottom of my foot, and when I went to dive, he like gave me a boost, and I naturally just flipped. And they got so mad. They're like, "Don't do that again." It's like, "Well, then don't push my foot." And then so we try again, and he goes and he does it again, and I do another flip, and he's like, "Okay, you're going to have to dive off the side of the wall now. You can't go on the blocks anymore because you flip every single time." And so then
Yeah.
I had another teacher in the next class up, and they're like, "Okay, we're going to dive off the blocks." And then my old instructor was lifeguarding at the time, and I was like, "He says I'm not allowed to dive off the blocks." It's like, "You're fine." It's like, "No, he says I'm not allowed to dive off the block." And he looked over like, "Oh yeah, don't let that kid dive off the blocks. He's going to do a flip every single time."
He just looked over at you. He's just like,
Yeah, don't let him do it.
mm-mm, mm-mm. Yeah, they missed an opportunity to get you to do that diving shit in the Olympics. I was watching they do that off the high dive.
Oh yeah, the high dive. Yeah, that looks
You might have been
amazing.
great at that.
Oh no, I would have probably flipped out and then just went belly flopped the rest of the way. I just flipped. I didn't flip into a dive. I just flipped and landed feet first. It would never. It was never graceful.
Yeah, there's that like little clip of the girl who's like gonna do it, and she kind of like getting her groove, where she do like 3 bounces on it, and then you go into it, and then she like kind of something fucked up, like she might not have been feeling the bounces,
Yeah.
but then she just kind of like wobbled on the edge of it, and then just like did like a pencil into the water. That was like going around. She got zeros, poor girl. But so so in Rhode Island this summer. And I haven't been on a boat this summer. Usually I like to go out to Block Island. It's this island just off of the coast of Rhode Island. It's still considered part of Rhode Island, but it's like a little like 9 miles off or something. And but this beach that we had went to, me and my wife, before we had kids, because it's kind of like a lawless beach in Rhode Island, and you can drink and bring dogs and do whatever you want. So when we were younger, that was what we always did. We always went to this beach for like 12, 11 years or whatever. and it's like kind of little cove. There's like a jetty that protects it. It's like a boat refuge. So if the waves or it's foggy, you can go in there, chill in there because the water's calm, and then you can go back out and continue on your journey. Either way, two great white sightings within that cove.
Oh no,
That
thank you.
would, yeah, no, and like they're like, oh, they're juveniles. A fucking juvenile great white is still like 7 foot long. It's still enormous.
Yeah.
It's still a gigantic. That's like the size of some full grown ass sharks.
Yeah. Uh huh.
You know.
No, thank you.
In that refuge, there's two great whites in there, and then just recently, probably the most popular beach in Rhode Island, they had to evacuate it just I think like 2 weeks ago because there was like a thresher shark.
Oh wow.
Which I didn't know what it was. Apparently, it's like a long tail. It can fly out of the water and shit. Like it can do like the great white jumps out of the water and everything. And pretty cool. They got drone footage of it. But I love the beach. I don't know if I'm ever going into the water again.
Nope. No, thank you.
Nope. I have not been in the water once this summer. I go with my ankles, but that's about it. I don't.
Yep.
You know, I'm all good because I barely went in to begin with. Like it took me a long time living up here to even just be able to kind of get under and cool myself off and then walk back out. It took me forever just to do that, but no, fuck that. Never again.
What? I hate sand. Like I can't, I absolutely hate it. Like we went to San Diego for vacation, and the first day, like I pretty much wore my shoes, my sneakers and socks on the sand. I was like, "You're gonna regret it." I'm like, no, I'm not. I'd rather have the sand in my shoes than the sand feeling between my toes. No, thank you. Oh, I hate it. And not stand sand.
It is, yeah. And I meet a ton of people that are like that. I'm like, yeah, because they live up here, and I'm like, you live around the fucking beaches are beautiful, and they all say like, I hate the sand. I hate track. I hate it. I don't like how it feels on me. I don't like to get it in my car. It just doesn't bother me at all. Does not bother me at all.
And I braved it, for the family. I took my shoes and socks off, went in the water, and then some like kelp or something from the sea hit my feet, and I was like, "Yep, that's the reason why I don't do this. I don't like this. No, thank you. No, thank you."
Yeah, the ocean is different. It is definitely it hits a little different. The ocean.
No, thank you. The cool thing with San Diego though was further down on the beach, there's this little area where they have it says like sea lion not mating, but sea lion like nursing, and there's just a shit ton of sea lions, baby sea lions, big sea lions, just laying on the beach chilling.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, cool. I had no idea how big they were until I went to an aquarium over here. They're fucking enormous.
Yeah,
because I just kind of have little harbor seals to go by, which is why all the great whites are now in back in Massachusetts, back in Martha's Vineyard, all that shit where Jaws was filmed, because they brought back the harbor seal population. That's what they eat. But like you just see they're little chubby little cute guys. Holy shit, sea lions are fucking enormous, man.
Yeah, they're just
big boys,
big for no reason. Like the things that like God created, just like how's this thing supposed to move? It's just got the two arms out here and it's just doing its thing, trying to move around. But as soon as it gets into the water, then that bitch is quick. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yep. And they got big ass sharp teeth on them too. And they're not even mean.
No.
And I mean, I'm sure they are mean, but they're not sharks, but they're still scary as shit.
Yeah, definitely.
So what did you think of this? All right, so I got to ask you, what did you think of the speech that Quinn gave on the boat? Dude, what did you think? When he talks about the boat going down, the USS Indiana, they're all drinking in there in the boat, and then he goes into that monologue. What did you think?
I'm trying.
And he's like
on that one.
I mean, so when
he's talking about when he's talking about the sharks and whatnot, and then taking out the people, and
and they're eating all the
that was intense. That was actually a pretty good part. I was going to mention the thing about Quinn that I thought was interesting in the beginning was when they're all having a little like town meeting or whatever, and he's sitting in the back like Captain Ahab. I'll catch a shark for you. Just pay me so much money. I'll get him. All right, you'll want me. Ha. And it's like. That was just interesting, but I ended up liking him. At first, I was like, "Oh, he's just so annoying." But then after a while, I was like, "Okay, he's not a bad character." And I meant to mention, young Richard Dreyfuss is fantastic.
Yes,
just a fantastic human being, and I think I love this character. And it's like, as much as I know Richard Dreyfuss from like What About Bob and things of that sort, I was like, I really like young Richard Dreyfuss. I really, really enjoy him.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Young Richard Dreyfuss was great.
Yeah.
There are rumors that he kind of beefed with Quinn on the on set and stuff like that. But one of the great parts, so Robert Shaw, who played Quint, he was like, oh, talking to Spielberg, and Spielberg's a young man at this point. Like, oh, just another reason why Steven Spielberg is fucking amazing, because I think he's like 27 or something when he's
Oh
doing
wow.
this, maybe even younger, 25, whatever, however old he is. And he's like, hey, buddy, we're all drinking in this scene. Maybe I should tie a few on before I do it, just to get in the mood and whatever. So Spielberg's like, sure. He proceeds to get shit faced to the point where they have to carry him onto set.
That's crazy.
And then he's like, just like trying to do the speech and like passing out and shit. And they're just like, fuck this, we're gonna film this tomorrow. They just like dragged him off and they had to reshoot the next day.
That's crazy.
But man. Yeah, they did a good job, at least casting the main crew, like the main guys. But in the book, Richard Dreyfuss' character bangs the wife, Brody's wife.
What?
Yeah, he's plowing the wife. They yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm glad they took that part out.
Yeah, it made it more likable. I think that was the whole thing. It was it's kind of an unnecessary storyline here. The shark's already evil enough.
Yeah,
we don't need him banging the wife.
There was another quote that I appreciated. That's from Quinn, which was, "Here's to swimming with bow-legged women." And I just was like, that was just so random in the movie.
that was our cheers in college. That was at our house. Anytime we had shots, we're like, "Here's the swimming with bow-legged women." Wow.
Oh man, there was that one. I already mentioned the one. What did I tell the kids? Tell them we're going fishing. But I think my favorite one of the entire time is "Smile, you son of a bitch."
yeah, right at the end when he blows him, blows his head up. Yep. Smile, you son of a bitch. Boom. I saw Mythbusters about that, and they don't do that apparently. They don't blow up like that when you shoot them. First off, the bullet, I guess that metal's so thick, it like ricochets off, and then if you do get it, it just kind of puts a hole in it, and then it just kind of
Yeah, I'd say, because like they're banking on it hitting it, and the metal hitting the other metal, causing a spark that just causes a combustion and it explodes. And it's like, nah, I probably would just shot through and then went into the water or bounced around or something like that. But that's fine. And
that's fine. It's all right.
And then the movie just kind of ended.
Yeah, like, they just swim back to shore, and
like it just ended. Like there was no like him going back to his wife or anything like that. Like, what if there's another shark and he died in the water? Like we would never know. Like he just just smile, you son of a bitch, bang, and then Richard Dreyfuss survived, and then they're just kind of floating back to the shore.
Yeah, I feel like they. Yeah, I mean, in the book, Dreyfuss dies too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I think Brody's the only guy who survives. And then so maybe they just kind of were like, let's make him survive, and that's it. And that they didn't know how to end it, but I never really thought of that the movie just kind of ends like that.
Hey, just kind of, I mean, and I think about it, in a lot of movies back in the day, just kind of ended. Like there was no like, tie in to bring it all together. Just kind of like this is end scene and roll credits, play music, and call it a day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I didn't like the Sopranos ended kind of weird like that too, right? That did I didn't really, I don't really like that. I like I think it's Stephen King. What the fuck I call him Peter King? Because that's a sports guy, right? Peter King writes like Sports Illustrated or something. Yeah.
Stephen King, fantastic.
Stephen King, that's right, and that's what he said. I think he said it after the Soprano. I think it was after the Soprano one, and he was basically kind of taking a dig at it, and he was saying people read books, watch movies, or whatever because you're telling a story, and a story has a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah, and
if you don't do those three things, then you're kind of cheaping out the people who have invested their time to read it or watch it or whatever.
Agreed. Like what I did like about the Soprano ending was the fact that it caused everybody to like have a conversation about it, but it also annoyed the shit out of me because I was like, this last season, like they just took everybody out. So I mean, why not just show us Tony getting shot in the bathroom and call it a day? Like we took everybody else out besides his family in this last season. Let's just give us the ending we wanted.
Yeah, fine. I do like when they kind of just give you what you want. But
Yeah.
what happened? I didn't watch Game of Thrones. Were you a Game of Thrones guy?
Nope, because I had a supervisor who, when Game of Thrones was talked about being on HBO, he's like, "I'm not going to watch this show." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Because this particular author, George R. R. Martin, what he does on purpose is get you to like a character and then kills them." And I was like, "Well, then I don't want to watch something where I already know the people that I'm going to like are going to be the ones that end up dying randomly." So I was like, "No, I'll pass."
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I never watched it either. I just know everybody was super upset with the way that shit ended too.
Well,
I
I know
guess.
that one at certain, I think after season 7, they went off of the books and were making their own stories because they'd already caught up to the books by that point.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
and
they
I
still
think
had
that
him on as like a person, as like I was sort of looking for like a subject matter expert or something like that, but I don't
yeah,
know, you
you
know.
know that he was just telling them bullshit because he wanted to write a better story.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, do it like
Yeah.
that. That's great.
Yeah,
And then
that
he's
yeah,
like,
that works.
totally, totally. Or maybe it was like an ending that he thought of, and he was like, let's see how this goes.
And then was like,
And then it crashed and burned. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go back and
yeah,
rewrite this shit.
maybe I won't do that. Maybe I
Yeah,
won't.
smart guy.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah, so Jaws, man, I'm glad that you watched it.
yeah.
That was like I said, it's one of my top favorite movies, ever. And like I was telling people with Star Wars too, it's like when I have you always run into a friend who never watched Star Wars as a kid, and they're like, well, I want to watch it now, especially when the new ones are coming out and there's kind of a big buzz around it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of always tell them, I'm like, you can't. I'm like, it's really hard to get into. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to go back and digest those like the early ones, like the 70s and 80s ones.
Yeah.
It had to captivate your imagination as a kid, I think, for you to really appreciate it. I think you had to have that kind of kid, because I fucking love the Ewoks. If I saw the Ewoks the first time today, I'd be like, why the fuck is this movie ending with cute bears?
Yeah, I loved the Ewoks as a kid. That was my favorite thing. And then when I found that they had a movie, I was like, sign me up for that shit.
All those terrible Ewok movies, I love them. Like it was called like the Caravan of Courage or whatever the hell it was, some stupid Ewok movie, but it was great. I loved it. Yeah, the Ewoks were my favorite.
Mine too.
Yeah, that was what got me into it. That was seeing that, and unfortunately, somebody pointed out that that could be Jar Jar Binks for some kids. The our Ewoks is their Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, those poor people
of that generation.
Oh no,
but I haven't met one yet. They just brought the point up, but I don't think I've ever met. I don't know if you could admit that at this point.
I would never. Who's your favorite character? Jar Jar Binks. You get the fuck out right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
You bigot.
Yeah, you're an awful human being.
You piece of shit.
Yeah, you're just terrible.
So that was what Jaws were, and that is why, again, I think that's why I can't swim to this day, is because I talked about before. I have always had this irrational fear in water of sharks, even in like a pool. like I can't sleep. Like a lot of people, I crack a drink, I lay on an inner tube. I would do that, and then as soon as I got relaxed, like in my subconscious would just creep up, and I would just be like looking to the sides of the fucking inner tube and shit. Like it's so weird, but I can't shake it. I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, I could get it if you watched this as a kid or something like that. It never was one of the movies that intrigued me as a kid to watch. One, like I thought it was going to be way scarier than what it was. When I watched it, finally I was like, oh, this is not really even that scary of a movie at all whatsoever. Yeah. But at the time when I was a kid and heard about it, I was like, sharks killing people? No, thank you.
Yeah,
no,
I don't blame you. I love that shark background, by the way. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. I did it just for Jaws.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as a kid, I think that it was, well, not as a kid, because I fucking wasn't a kid in 75. I was born 10 years later. But if I can imagine when that movie came out, like at that time, that was probably like, holy shit. Like the graphics in Star Wars, like that shark, and the way they made it like jump out of the water and like all that kind of stuff is probably pretty cool for a movie of that era.
Yeah, I will say I did get one jump scare, and I was like, oh, okay, you got me on that one. When they first showed the shark, like just how big he was, at a certain
Yeah.
part, and he's like, we're like, oh, okay, okay. And then I was like, damn it, Jaws, you're not supposed to do that to me. I don't
Yeah.
appreciate that. I don't
So yeah,
appreciate
that's
that at
good.
all.
That's good. You
Yeah,
got one little jump
I
out of
got
it.
one jump scare out of it, so I appreciate that. That was very
Yeah.
cool.
And so one Rhode Island tie, I got to tie this in here since I live in Rhode Island, the beer that Quint drinks on the boat, he's
Uh-huh.
drinking the beer and then he crushes it. And
Yeah.
then Brody kind of like has his Dixie cup of water and
Oh yeah.
crushes it,
Uh-huh.
that's a Narragansett beer. And that is a Rhode Island beer company from
Oh,
back in
cool.
the day.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
yeah, and then they bring back every year in the summer the original style can that he had on the boat, and their big campaign is crush it like Quint.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
awesome.
their so then they have like Quint drinking one, and that's their whole campaign. So
That's pretty cool. I was actually sad that he died. I was hoping he was going to make it because in the beginning, like I said, you didn't like him that much, but then towards like when he had his little story about what happened with the sharks and whatnot, you start to like the dude, and you start
yeah,
to see, and then you're like, oh man! Then all of a sudden the shark just like takes him and eats his bottom half of his torso. So you're like, oh well, I guess that's it. That's
yeah, no,
yeah,
that's it, man. You like him too. He's drinking, he's crazy.
yeah,
He's like, and then he kind of starts to grow on you, like that
yeah,
alcoholic friend that you had in college. It's kind of an asshole, but he was your asshole.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's a true story. That one that he goes into about
Oh really?
that's like a true story,
Oh,
man.
that's
That's a
crazy. I couldn't imagine seeing something like that. Like just oh.
yeah. The shark that was like the whatever World War II, and they delivered the
Mm-hmm.
bomb coming back from Japan, and yeah, man, they fucking that shit. That was like a very horrible real story that he
Yeah.
told there, which made it
That's
better.
yeah.
So what
It,
do we? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that story made you understand the character more. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay. So you're an asshole because you witnessed some shit that's like no one should ever witness in their lifetime. Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough. Fair enough.
And he's like that. That's why he has like the vendetta with the shark,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which is like I'm gonna kill this or it's gonna kill me. Like
Yeah.
it's this. We are not going back. Nobody's coming to help us. Which is why at the one point the movie starts breaking the radio when he
Yeah.
tries to radio out. He's like, no, fuck this. Like, I'm killing this thing,
Yeah.
or it's gonna like this is it. This is the end. This is the final showdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, like you said earlier, there's Captain Ahab, but yeah, they kind of based his character off of, I guess I didn't read Moby Dick, but they kind of based his insanity with this obsession with killing Jaws as the same thing as like hunting Moby Dick or whatever.
Okay. All right. That makes sense then. I get that.
Yeah, definitely my favorite character. I'm glad you said because he's absolutely my favorite character in the whole movie. He kind of makes a movie for me. Just
Yeah, I can see
just
that.
that guy.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? So thank you for doing Jaws with me because I know it's kind of off of the nerd path.
No, that's fine.
What are we going to what are we jumping into? What's going on? There's so much shit on Netflix. There's so much nerd shit that just like it's like a dog just chasing the next thing that flashes by their face.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
I don't know. I finished the Suicide Squad movie. And that was pretty good. If you want to do that one. We can go back to Marvel stuff because we finished the Hulk. So I think the next one after that would have been we already did Captain America 2, didn't we? Yeah. So we did all three Captain Americas, didn't we? I mean,
no,
Iron
Man's.
We did all three Iron Mans.
Because we ended on the Iron Man with like the zombie people that the kind of whatever they were, they kind of they died, but then they came back to life. I think that was the third one.
That project or whatever. So we did that one. I mean, I think Thor was after that. If I'm looking in the order.
Yes. So I saw Thor Ragnarok, which was amazing, and we'll get to that. But I never saw the original Thor because somebody told me it wasn't good. But then other people have said no, it's a decent movie.
It's a decent movie.
Yeah.
If I were to go in order, I'd say 3, 1, 2. I think number 2 was the one that was kind of like it was still a good movie, but out of the 3, number 2 was the worst one.
Okay, so yeah, definitely down for Thor. We can throw down on Thor.
Yeah, I think let's do some Thor.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't think of anything else, and Thor sounds good.
Thor sounds good. Thor it is.
Sweet.
We'll throw it out. Do you have any shows coming up? Anything coming up?
I just booked a show in September at a place called Stir Crazy, where I get to host.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
weird because I have to be like more clean. So I was texting, I was like, "Hey, can I say nigga?" Like, I was just kidding. I know I can't say that one, but it was just funny. It's like, okay, what can I? Because like they're adults, but like you never know what people say for clean comedy. Because one of the things I know that a lot of bookers hate is like when someone's like, "It's got to be clean comedy," and then all of a sudden, like the person comes on stage and is like,
Pink
"Hey."
dicks.
They say I got to do clean comedy. Do you want it to be clean or dirty? And then the audience is like dirty, and then the booker's like, "Fucking a, what are you doing? Like we
Yeah.
said, clean comedy." So, so I
He's
know
like, hey,
never to
let me
do
tell you
that.
about little
Yeah,
pink dicks. All right, this first joke is about.
got a joke about pink dicks, but here it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
is it like is it like is that like the club style? It's a clean comedy club, or is it just a night or that
oh
particular,
no,
you know?
he just the person who's like booker slash owner of the club likes that the host like get him going without like taking him out because I have definitely seen sometimes where some hosts they're just like, oh, you're supposed to like start the show off and now the next person's got to bring it back because the host just like killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that once. It was wow, it was Pete Davidson.
uh-huh.
He's at the Comedy Connection in Providence, and the host was shit. Was he the host or the opener? I can't. I want to say he was the host. He could have been the opener, but he was a YouTube sensation.
Uh-huh.
He had a song. I think he's like a Lebanese kid or something, Arab kid, and he did a song about like hummus, and it
Oh.
was like one of the lines like the way like the right way to eat hummus was his thing, and it caught fire. And then he had a
Uh-huh.
couple songs and shit, and he went out and just on along the lines of like little pink dick, like he just was like vulgar, like he didn't have jokes, he was just being like vulgar and
Uh-huh.
vulgar and vulgar and vulgar, and it just kind of like the first couple of times he was like and then it just kind of killed it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's always frustrating. Like I can't claim myself to be like a great comedian, but like when you see people who are like just like they're funny because they have like YouTube skits and things like that, and then they like try to hire them for like a stand-up comedian, you're like, they're not stand-up comedians
mm,
though. Like they just did some good skits
yeah,
and that means they have good people to write funny skits, but like writing a skit and joke writing are like completely different things.
yeah, you could see it. There was just a big difference between, obviously Pete Davidson, who's an amazing comedian, but like
Yeah.
there's just when the actual comedians got on there, it was
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, just get this kid the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Thor it is. I'm fucking
Sounds good to
down,
me.
man. I'm
All right.
down because I love Thor Ragnarok, man. That is one of my, it might be still one of my favorite Marvel movies, not my favorite one I've seen so far. So I get to actually see where Thor comes from.
Oh yeah. I'm excited for this one. And I was thinking, and this is up to you. This is completely up to you. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be intriguing to change the slogan from "fuck me up to the moon" to "smile, you son of a bitch," just because I liked that quote so much. That was the one part of the movie that I pretty much enjoyed was
Yeah.
"smile, you son of a bitch."
Smile, you son of a bitch. It is.
I,
Let's.
I really like that one. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just one of the things like when I heard, it, I was just like, okay, all right, I'll take this one.
Yeah, because it's a nice thing to say, but a super aggressive way to say it.
Yeah.
You know, telling
Oh,
someone to smile.
smile, you son of a bitch.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
All right. So we'll get back at you when we get back at you. I think we've been doing it at a clip like three to 4 weeks. So probably could keep it around that, and we'll do it.
Cool.
And if you get one in between, guys, then you're lucky. All right,
Yeah,
you're just that much
basically.
luckier.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck with everything, dude.
All right. You too, sir.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Bye.
Bye.